What's up, Vikings Nation? We have some news surrounding Danielle Hunter, who has had rumors in the past couple months of him potentially being traded. Those rumors quieted down amidst the Dalvin Cook trade rumors to Miami, to wherever. Is he going to get traded? Is he going to get cut? Well, the Danielle Hunter sweepstakes have officially picked up again, and per Ian Rappaport on NFL Plus, the Vikings are receiving trade calls centered around star pass rusher Danielle Hunter. And the interest is very, very real, sources say. Now, this is obviously due to the fact that he's young. Okay, he's posted a couple 14 and a half year sacks and stuff like that. But a couple of reasons why we would like to move on from him, or maybe move on from him, is one, he's only $5.5 million on the salary cap. He's super young, and we could, save some money, potentially end up keeping Dalvin Cook maybe this season. You never know what the situation might involve or whatever. But another reason is that Danielle Hunter and the Minnesota Vikings have been trying to work on a potential contract extension and basically have gone nowhere. With a young guy who's poised to make some big money here in the next year or two, he obviously wants a chance at, getting that contract elsewhere potentially. And that's why the Vikings are taking these calls and seeing what they potentially might get for him. However, if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, you don't trade him. I do not want to see Danielle Hunter leave the Minnesota Vikings because we have nobody else to take his role, to cover his role. We have Marcus Davenport on the other side. The only people that could maybe pick up and take his role and really step and become a starter is DJ Wanham. Okay, we've seen him in action a couple times, at least last season and the year before that. He seems to kind of be getting the hand of things and stuff, so he'd be okay, but he's not a Danielle Hunter. You're looking at Patrick Jones II and stuff like that as well, right behind him. So we really don't have, we have depth behind Danielle Hunter at defensive end or pass rusher, but not good depth. Like, we don't have a dog behind Danielle Hunter. And look, you guys can say Danielle Hunter really hasn't done much the past couple seasons. Well, let me tell you something. Okay, 4 years ago, Danielle Hunter posted 14 and a half sacks. After just a year after that, another 14 and a half sack season. All right, then he tears his pec muscle or something like that, has to sit out a whole year. Okay, then last year, he had Ed Donatel as his defensive coordinator and had him dropping back in pass coverage. Okay, you don't do that, right? The position is called pass rusher, edge rusher, not pass coverage. Okay, none of that. His one job is to get to the quarterback, and he does a very, very good job of doing so. But last year we witnessed Danielle Hunter dropping back in coverage, getting beat, looking sloppy. We didn't even blitz the quarterback. We didn't even blitz the opposing offense. Okay, so in a new system with Brian Flores, who statistically blitzes about 30% of the time or something like that, you want to see Danielle Hunter in this system because there's a good chance he could post another 14 and a half sack season, a 15 sack season, an 18 sack season. You never know. Okay, now I'm just throwing those numbers out there because anything can happen, right? But I think it would be very, very dumb, very, very foolish of the Vikings to trade away Danielle Hunter unless we get some good, draft capital or a player for him. There's a couple spots I looked at, the potential landing spots for Danielle Hunter. One would be the Carolina Panthers. However, what would we get in return? Maybe a second round pick, a third round pick, whatever the case may be. The Houston Texans, they also need a pass rusher. That would suck for Danielle because that team does not look good, in my opinion. Then you're looking at the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is where it'd be interesting, and I'd be okay with it, but at the same time, not really, just because we don't have the depth. Okay, DJ Wanham can play, and I trust DJ Wanham to do a good job. Patrick Jones, he can be hit or miss, right? I don't see him as a potential starter at this point in his career. Maybe in a year or two, I'm not really sure. But if we trade him to San Francisco, right, I would like Trey Lance in return. Okay, then we have our backup quarterback potentially to take over for Kirk Cousins in the future. He's young. He really hasn't had enough time to showcase his skills and stuff like that. I think that would be worth it. Maybe get a draft pick, maybe like a 6th round and a 7th round with Trey Lance, and maybe we send over a 7th rounder or whatever with Danielle Hunter. I'm not really sure, but I guess the trade talks, the trade calls that we are receiving are very, very real, and it is getting very interesting. A trade is incoming. Okay, it might happen within the coming days, within the week or two. I'm not really sure, but it might just happen. And if it does happen, there's a chance that we could keep Dalvin Cook and, maybe find a way to restructure his contract, push money out and throughout the years and stuff like that. I'm not really sure how this whole situation is going to pan out. But the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings, are receiving trade calls for pass rusher, star pass rusher Danielle Hunter. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think about this. Also, drop a like, and hey, subscribe to the channel. It would be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your day, folks, and Skol Vikes.